joining us. So, us? Yes, us. All right, so truth be told, I filmed a video that had a few technical difficulties, and I propagated and potted this gorgeous rhapidaphora tetrasperma. These are two separate vines, and the goal is to have like this giant mini monstera or rhapidaphora tetrasperma. So I did these cuttings and I placed them in rooting hormone and Jack's growth hormone, pinch of, not Jack's growth hormone, Jack's fertilizer, just a pinch of that though, very, very little, and some rooting hormone. You don't need either of those. You can just stick it straight in the water, but because I'm very super protective and super attached and know how hard it is to get this in my area, I'm trying to be super protective and make sure that this cutting ends up being fantastic and super successful, and I lose none of these and everything works out perfectly. So that's why I did the rooting hormone. That's why I did the pinch of Jack's. So we're gonna let this set for a couple of weeks, babysit it, and then revisit the rhapidaphora tetrasperma propagation. So today, I thought a good video would be sort of like a plant therapy. Hey, you know, how's quarantine going? Are you going crazy yet? Are you loving life? Is it completely non-adjustment? How's it going? So I thought we would just hang out and pot some plants. This is therapy for me. I love getting in the soil. It brings me super good feelings to be potting plants and doing stuff with plants. So I thought I would share that with you today. So here we go. All right. So I love this plant. Okay. All right. Stare. Oh, no. So today what I would like to do is talk about, you know, we're doing propagations and we were in the rhapidaphora tetrasperma mini monstera family. They're monstera family, basically. So part of the Monstera family is the Monstera Adansonii, this wide form. And the only other kind I have is a narrow form. So I thought we would spend a few minutes today doing some plant therapy, getting with the soil, doing a little potting, doing a little de-stressing and anti-anxiety fun, you know. Getting in touch with our inner plant and taking care of this guy because he now has some pretty decent roots. He's been propagating for 2 or 3 weeks. Check these guys out. Now you could, if you wanted, let that sit a little longer if you feel like you want bigger roots. But I feel like this guy is ready to be in soil. Anyway, moving on. So we're gonna propagate these today and we're gonna put them in a small pot. I always recommend doing it in a nursery pot. The Monstera tend to like to be root bound. So, you know, I'm gonna choose, you know, a rather small, maybe 5 inch pot. You know, I'm gonna put some soil in there, and I don't fill it up all the way. I sort of fill it up 3/4, tap it down a little, okay, maybe even halfway, and that's where you're gonna want to start arranging these guys. So you're gonna want to, you know, obviously the root is the important factor, so you're gonna want to stick the stem down past the root because the root is the important part that you're going to want to cover in the soil. You know, you're gonna stick the ones that have the roots, because you might find that not all of your cuttings have roots yet. So you're gonna only wanna pick the ones that have the roots. That's the only ones you're gonna wanna go with. And just like a flower arrangement, you're gonna wanna arrange these in the pot the way that you want the plant to grow. That makes sense, doesn't it? You're kind of like the plant god. Well, I mean, that might be a little dramatic, but you get what I'm saying. That's kind of cool if you think about it. Look, this guy has 3 roots. That's amazing. Look at that. Look at that crazy root. Look at those. 3 on this one little baby. It's amazing. So in this case, I would stick my finger in the soil and I would make a like a tunnel. So, because you don't want to mess with them, you just want it to go in there, and you want to push the soil in very, very ever so gently. Don't disturb the roots. They haven't been touched or disturbed in the water, so you want to make sure. Like this guy, barely roots. They were all in the same jar, but he's not rooted well yet. So this one, I'm sticking straight back in there. I'm not taking a chance. I only want the roots that look like they're ready to go, like this one. This one's ready to go. You see that? And he's got like 1, 2, 3 people on him. People. Yeah, okay. People. All right, he's in. That's a good one too. Good one. People. Now you're just going to pour the soil on the top, and you're going to you're going to adjust as needed. Tap it down. You don't want to get too packy. You know, you don't have to push and be, you know, aggressive with the soil. And then you just kind of want to move it a little to where you think it looks nice and where you'd like to have it basically stay, you know, for its little plant life. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just determining where that is based on how the roots were, the placement, all of it. Just kind of chilling, you know, nothing super complicated, because this is plant therapy and you don't want to overcomplicate it. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be relaxing. It's supposed to be de-stressing, and it's supposed to make you feel happy, because plants do that. They really do. They make you feel happy. And if you're a hater or, you know, a non-believer in plants, let me tell you something. Be patient with yourself. Give yourself a chance. If you killed a few plants, you should know that those plants probably just took a hit for you. You know, they felt the negative energy in your life and they took it for you. So just relax and be a plant acceptor and lover, and realize this is good for you. Plants in nature are always good for you. Those transcendentalists, they knew what they were talking about. Well, I'm not saying a religious thing, but I'm just saying, like, they did. They knew what they were talking about. Anyway.
Wait, was that religious?
I don't know! Transcendentalism was a religion. It was definitely a literary movement. Ralph Waldo Emerson was the father of transcendentalism.
Oh, okay, now I know what you're talking about. I forgot I learned about that.
Hey there, Ralph! How are you today? Okay, I'm just kidding. I'm so hungry. Just kidding. Okay, so this asymmetrical masterpiece, Picasso couldn't have done it better himself if he did plant art. Anywho, beauty and amazing fun feeling. Super gratifying, super, it's just a feeling that nothing else can really do, honestly. This feeling, the roots, the beauty, the leaves, oh God, I mean, I don't know if you can feel it, but I can definitely feel this awesomeness. Like, can you feel it? I definitely can. You gotta try this. If you are not feeling it, you have to do it for yourself. You have to put the soil in a janky kitchen pot and you gotta try this. You have to try rooting some plants, putting them in the soil. It's definitely a COVID-19 moment. Like, we're all trying to survive here. We're all trying to keep sane. So you need to try this. Like, this is like super good therapy for you. I highly recommend it. And I even have 2 babies, even though I'm hoping, I don't know if they'll survive, but I'm thinking they will. But these came from the propagation that was in the water, so I'm thinking they will. Shout out to my camera girl, who is my daughter, who has had extreme amount of patience with me these past few COVID weeks when I've been annoying her to edit videos and also record them. So thank you, daughter. So guys, just so you know, these cuttings did not root. There's like a start of a root. They just might not have had enough time, even though they were in there the same amount of time as the other cuttings that I had. So I'm just gonna go ahead and stick them back in, just like I did this guy that's got, honestly, a good start of a root, but not enough to where I'm ready to put him in soil yet. So I'm just gonna stick these guys back in the water and the root growth hormone, and I'm just gonna let them, you know, have some time to mature. Okay, so I would love to show you also, as part of this Monstera Adansonii propagation video, my my narrow form. We've done the wide form, and I have a narrow form that I am absolutely loving. It's sort of my baby. I've never propagated it, so why not? Let's do it. It's overgrown. Let's take some cuttings, get that baby propagated, and make some more plants. That's the goal. More plants. Ready? Okay. So this guy has outgrown his pole. He's a big one. So, same as before, and with any cutting where you have aerial roots, can you zoom in on that? Any cutting where you have aerial roots, like this one right here, where there's a node, you're gonna wanna cut underneath it to get, well, I mean, technically you could do it down here, like that, to give yourself the node plus the aerial roots. You can kind of see there's a lot of stuff going on the top of that. So yeah. Let's see, this one too, maybe, let's do it here. I'm gonna go, obviously, under the node. Look at all that growth right there. Those are all aerial roots, you see that? Okay, so when we propagate and stick it in water, we're gonna cut like that. So you have your aerial roots, you have your node, and you'll stick that in water. You could stick it directly in soil, but my advice to you is to stick it in water with root growth hormone, only because personally, myself, I just feel like that's like a safer route. So that's what I'm gonna do, because I want my propagation to absolutely survive without question. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these other ones. I think this one right here, no one would miss with this beautiful, gorgeous plant. So I'm just gonna go ahead and snip it, knowing that I'm gonna wanna get it, you know, away from that node. There's the node, so bam, I cut it there, and you know there's gonna be another node there. So I cut it before that other node began. So again, aerial roots. I know I can cut it here if I want to. And I know I can cut it here if I want to. And I know that I could probably cut it here. But there's nothing saying that you have to do that if you're propagating. If you want to keep it just like this and stick it in water, you definitely could. If you want multiple cuttings to place in soil or water to propagate, then obviously you would cut here and have separate cutting, and you would cut here to have a separate cutting. Now, what I wouldn't do is I would not cut here. And the reason for that is that I can tell this is a baby leaf. This is a brand new leaf. I don't want to jeopardize the chance that that will survive. So I'm going to leave this alone, and I'm just going to stick this directly in water and let that node grow some roots. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Now, when we're propagating anything, Monstera, rhapidaphora, tetrasperma, Monstera Adansonii, Pothos, Philodendron, whatever, it doesn't matter. When you propagate, you want to take at least 10 cuttings to 15 cuttings, maybe even more, because you want to have a plant that has, a full head of hair is what we call it, or what we call it, because it's what I call it, or what plant people call it, maybe, I don't know. But you definitely want to have a good start. If you could come in a little bit closer, I just want to show you what having it near the humidifier and feeding it the Jack's growth hormone and the growth hormone has done for the aerial roots. Just check that out right there. That's crazy. That's brand new growth. That is in the last 2 weeks. I'm not really doing anything other than putting it near the humidifier and giving it good care. This is all brand new, so I don't mind propagating and making a new plant, to be honest. Like, I don't at all. Because at the end of the day, having a new narrow form Monstera Adansonii is awesome. So we're gonna propagate that. All right, let's turn this baby around just to see if we can get in the other.
Whiskey's joined.
Hi. I feel like that's enough propagating. So here are my cuttings from my Monstera Adansonii, the narrow form, just to show you the difference up close and personal between the wide form and the narrow form. If you could see the difference between the leaves themselves, you can see that even though these are both Monstera Adansonii, they are very, very different. And to be honest, this form is more finicky and hard to care for, in my opinion, than the narrow form. The narrow form, I feel like, is much more resilient and easier to take care of if you're in the market for a Swiss cheese plant. That's their other name, I guess common name, Swiss cheese plant. This is the easier one. This is the sort of more diva variety. And there are tons of different varieties, so just so you know. So what I would do is I would cut, so you have all of these aerial roots that are already growing. Look at that, that's crazy. This is the newest one, it's insane. But these are all aerial roots. So you wanna cut at the base, don't cut at the node or anything. That's the node. You want to cut, well, I guess if you're going through the internode, at the very utmost end of the internode. And then you have this cutting, and you've got your aerial roots, which are going to take root in soil. So you want to make sure that that is the section that you are propagating. In this case, you've got multiple aerial roots. You could probably stick that directly in soil, honestly. That would probably thrive. But we're going to stick it in here. Do that. here are my other cuttings. This one I could put directly in. This one, because it has babies. Actually, I'm gonna cut this one right here. Got this one and the baby plus that one. And you're gonna wanna make sure that when you do these cuttings that the root gets in the water, because without the water, it doesn't have a means for survival. So you're gonna wanna make sure that is definitely in the water. This one, I'm gonna stick this in as one big one because I don't see any other aerial roots here yet. So I'm just gonna stick this one directly in. That one's gonna go directly in the water, as is this one. And finally, this one. So guys, we did it. We're going to make a brand new gorgeous Swiss cheese plant when this is all said and done. Look at all the foliage, just on a quick trim of the Monstera Adansonii narrow-form that I had. And now when this is done propagating in a couple weeks, we'll be able to make a brand new plant, which is super awesome and fun. I can't recommend it enough. This happened today, and with the help of a little bit of more propagating on the other cuttings from this will be even fuller. It's just so awesome. I mean, look at it. It's like propagation, and we made a new plant. So fun. Thank you for coming and joining me in this plant therapy session today with propagating and potting, and I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. I hope that, you know, my advice to you was meaningful. If you are pleased with the video, please give it a thumbs up. That really does help me a lot. If you like my channel, please do subscribe. I really want your support, and I do appreciate it. And I hope that you guys come back here and see me again soon. Let's come back and do some plant therapy. Bye guys. See ya.